All right, quick review for the folks just catching up. I'm working mostly from Stash this year, and that's mostly knitting, but it also includes sewing and any other crafts that I like to play with. So while I'd love to say the goal is to get down to 0, that's not really very realistic. So the goal is to use the stuff I have and enjoy it instead of just buying more because I don't want to dip into the nice stuff I already have. Basically, use the good stuff instead of hoarding it. Make sense? Good. Sometime in December, I set aside yarn and fiber for 12 smallish projects, so socks, scarves, small shawls, spinning, etc. I put those things into protective zipper bags and then into paper bags to try and anonymize things. Every month I open a bag and decide what to make, and I guess because I chose it, this is the one. It was just on top. I have absolutely no idea which thing is in which bag because, well, it's been like 3 months. So in January, I made some yarn from the fiber that I opened up. I'm still working on the scarf from February. It's about 2/3 of the way through the pattern, so hopefully this won't take long. I'm working with Ching Fiber Silly Merino. Ching Fiber Silky Merino single that I bought about 6 or 7 years ago, give or take, from Stash Lounge in Calgary, Alberta. And the pattern is Fractal Danger by Martina Behm. Or Behm. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, so I'm very sorry if I've mispronounced it. But it's very pretty. My other outstanding work in progress is a step-by-step sweater designed by Florence Miller in Cairn Blossom Cakes. The colorway is rose, and I cast it on around this time last year and have been working on it off and on again since about September, mostly over the past couple of months. There was a sock, but it's been put into timeout, or in hockey terms, retired, until it likely gets frogged back and used to figure out my sock knitting machine. No, it's not one of the expensive cast iron models. My sock knitter is the Bear Valley CSM from Sound Yarn and Fiber in Parry Sound, Ontario. I definitely recommend checking them out. I had a fantastic experience shopping with Rachel, and I'm really looking forward to trying out the CSM, which is actually quite affordable, at least I thought it was. This video isn't sponsored, by the way. I paid for the CSM with my own money. Rachel just went above and beyond to ensure that I got what I was looking for, so thank you, Rachel. But that's my current yarn-related projects taken care of. Other things I'd like to work on this month if I have time? More project bags to protect my knitting from destructive cats. Also, I could use more t-shirts. I'm also on the perpetual quest for comfortable pants. So let's see what gets done. I've been looking forward to this all day. Aha! I'm knitting socks. Yay, I'm making socks. And that may seem a little weird considering I, just retired a pair of socks. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what this turns into. Okay, so this is Socks That Rock, 100% superwash merino, lightweight, hand-dyed fiber. And it's in the colorway of Becky Sue. I got this yarn at the Ujama Grama thrift sale last year. There's another one coming up in April, so that makes me very happy. Very bright colors. I like that. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing what this looks like all knit up. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have chosen it. Wouldn't have chosen to put it in the bags, that is. It's really nice and soft and squishy. I have a feeling these will probably be for the husbeast. These are most definitely husbeastly colors. He really does like his blues and his greens, particularly his very vibrant greens. I have a feeling this is going to be my sitting at the computer watching Final Fantasy XIV cutscenes socks. Can't think of a better thing. I'm going to have to take a look and see if there's actually a pattern that I want to do. Usually I would just do plain vanilla socks and just let my mind go. I could try a pair of Hermione's everyday socks. That's a pattern that I used to fall back on quite often. But there's a couple of newer socks that have been kind of calling my name, and I'm thinking I might give them a try. So we'll see what happens. It occurs to me you might not know where exactly I am, and that's because I'm on the other side of the basement that you don't generally get to see. Like, right behind you is where my sewing desk and cutting table, and if you go farther back, the wash stand that has my little tiny cauldrons on it, and the embroidered clock on the wall that's right twice a day, those are right behind you. This side we had to close off while we were getting the roof checked because we did notice some leaking, and there was, up until a couple of days ago, a sofa right over there that had been leaked on. And we know that there are some tiles that are missing from the drop ceiling that I think my father was trying to suss out any kind of leaks that might be there. So he knew that it was there, and the sofa just sort of stayed where it was, and I didn't know about it because he didn't tell me. So that sofa is now no longer with us. It may be somewhere else, but it's not here, which meant that I could actually get into the cabinets over on that side. Cable ties and a busk. These will be useful for the corset project that I'm working on. We'll see if I wind up using the busk. The cable ties most definitely will be useful because I'm used to using the thicker cable ties as corset boning in a pinch when I can't get my hands on steel. I think it's the steel boning. So yeah. That makes me very happy indeed. And in the meantime, I'm trying to suss out what's going to be in this area and how much of it. So right now it's looking like there's going to be shelving over in that direction. This side is possibly just going to be a sitting area, place where I can sit and chat. Or if I go to the other chair that's over there, just like this one, I might be able to scoot it out a little bit and watch some television while I'm knitting or hand sewing or whatever, and that way I'm not bothering the husband when he's working from home. I have more places where I can put the camera so that I can hopefully get some of those over-the-shoulder shots. And, well, we'll be confusing a cat because I'll be using an ottoman to keep my feet up rather than sitting on this sofa where I can put my feet up. And there's at least one cat who really likes her lap sits, so that could be a bit of a challenge for her, a little bit of an adjustment period. But we'll see how this goes. I'm going to be putting a desk in over there, I think, and we'll see whether or not everything gets too crowded in here. I'm hoping not. The shelving is going to be really useful because I do have quite a few little cube bags that need to get put away, and there are other things that just need to be stored on the shelves that we just haven't been able to get around to. So, yay for progress in the house. Anyhow, Progress on the sock. This makes me really happy. This is about where I was on the other sock that I wound up ditching out of, and I think having this beside my place at the desk has really been helping. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm finished these within the next week or two. We'll see. We'll see. Hope springs eternal. But right now, I'm thinking these are probably Husbeast socks. We'll see. Don't mind me if I wind up teleporting around because I'm having to pull cats off of some of the shelving in here. I'm hoping that my microphone works because the past couple of times I have had to use it, unless I've had it right up in front of my mouth, it's not all that happy with me, unfortunately. I figured I would take this opportunity to give you an update on my knitting projects because I've got the camera set up for something I'm going to be doing a little later this afternoon. So, Fractal Danger. Geez, a long one. I'm working on the end of this section's arc, and then I can bind off. So I've got about 5 more repeats of the lace pattern, and that's it. She'll be done. At that point, I will dunk her in some water, squeeze it out, try to keep the cats from crawling all over it for a while. Could be a difficult thing. And yeah, it'll be done. I've been trying to put more of a push on getting this done. This is how much yarn I've got left. Not much. Should be enough. And it's time to take a cat off of a shelf. Hi. You're just doing this now because you know it'll get you attention. Hi. You get to pay the cat tax. This one was climbing on a shelf. I see the other one was getting her close-up Mr. DeMille. Cats. But yeah, I've been working on Fractal Danger a lot more recently, not just when I'm on the sofa. I've been actually bringing it to my computer in the evening when I've been socializing. I've got a row counter. It really helps. Helps keep me on track, and as long as the cats aren't pulling stitches off of my needles, there have been a couple of times where I've been in between, in the middle of a row and put my stuff down for a second, and that one will come along and just start yanking on the cable for the needle, and next thing I know, I'm having to knit back 2 or 3 rows to be able to pick up all the stitches, and that's not very pleasant, let me tell you. So there we go, there's that. So I'm hoping to have that finished up in the next day or 2, depending. The socks, this is sock number 1, and I have successfully turned the heel. You have no idea how pleased I am with this. She is a very thick sock. She is beefy. I mean, not just this, as I like to call it, a nice beefy 20-row heel, but just the fabric of the sock itself is kind of thick. Part of that's the pattern. Part of that is Hermione's everyday sock with the kind of almost waffle stitch of the knit and purl. It does have a little bit of that sort of thick feeling where the two different, where the knit and the purl kind of push and pull against each other. Socks That Rock Lightweight also does seem to have, well, it's not as lightweight as lightweight. Most of the sock yarns that I have used, so mostly things like Regia or Scheschenmeyer or what have you, Lang, Online, etc. Usually they fit into that 8 stitches per inch perfectly using 2.5 millimeter needles, also known as, I think, size 1.5 US, I think. These are thicker. The Socks That Rock just has a little bit of extra thickness to it. And this is the lightweight. This isn't heavyweight or medium weight. This is the lightweight. So yeah, it knits up to be a really nice and thick and beefy sock. I'm liking the way that the pattern is coming through the sort of stripe of that blue. It's kind of neat. I'm enjoying that very much. And yes, my start of row counter is a little cameo charm that I found over at my local big box store. Not naming any names. Michael's. It's always Michael's. Michael's is the big box around here. Now I just have to finish off the foot and I'll be on to sock number 2, which hopefully won't take very long. I mean, there's a lot of cutscenes coming up in Final Fantasy XIV. For anybody who might be even slightly wondering if you play Final Fantasy XIV, we have done the Crystal Tower raids. We have just started Alphino's Grand Company designs, and we are almost finished the patch content of A Realm Reborn. And if you have played the game, you now know that there's going to be a lot of talk to somebody and then watch a movie for, like the next 10 to 15 minutes. Just the way that Final Fantasy XIV goes. And if you haven't played Final Fantasy XIV, none of that makes any sense, except for the fact that every so often I talk to people and I click a button and I watch movies while yakking with my friends in the background. It is Monday, the 23rd of March, and a little bit of sock progress for you. I'll just display this the same way that a man displays a prize fish. Unfortunately, I believe Dad gave all of his tackle to my brother, so I don't have the requisite wires to be able to, hold it up. But we have here Hermione's everyday sock in Blue Moon Fiber Arts Socks That Rock, size 11 man's foot. So that prize-winning fish pose is legit. But it doesn't stop there. I've already started sock number 2. For those who are kind of keeping track, I mentioned that we are getting some friends through Final Fantasy XIV. We have left the base game, A Realm Reborn, and we are now in... wait for it. The critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV with the expanded free trial, which you can play through the entirety of A Realm Reborn, and the award-winning Heavensward expansion up to level 60 for free, with no restrictions on playtime. I think they've expanded it even further with the amount of expansions we now have, but that's the meme. So yay. We are well into sock number 2. I've got a couple of inches on the leg, as well as my 20 round cuff. And it's coming along well. I have no doubt that it's going to be finished by the end of the month or very shortly afterwards, so not a big deal. I'm thinking that the next sock pattern, if I wind up pulling socks again this coming month, will probably be, just a vanilla sock or something, because those are easier to whip through. I mean, it's not like this is a really difficult sock pattern. It's just that all of the purl stitches mean I have to kind of stop. It's like a speed bump while I'm knitting, if that makes any kind of sense. The socks did have a busy weekend. I would have gotten more done, except for the fact that I had to go to a family event. The socks, however, did make their appearance and were noted by the people who noticed these things. So, yeah, it was good to have the sock in my purse and be able to work on it when I needed time away from the family. So, all good. Anyhow, I've got some other stuff I need to get done today, so I think I'm going to get back to that, and we'll see where we are in the next update. Well, March came in like a lamb, and at least according to the weather, is going out like a lion. It's snowed a lot the past couple of weeks. The patrons and channel members are already aware of this, but we had a member of the Husbeast's extended family pass away this month, which is one of the reasons why this month feels a little less packed than February. I decided to take some family time, so less filming. I was really glad to have my knitting projects. I could be present and still have something to do with my hands or the texture of the yarn to keep me grounded. The monthly mystery project was also a very bright beacon of almost neon green in a sea of black clothing, which I think would have amused the departed. Get your whimsy where you can, folks. It doesn't feel like I did a lot this month, but when I consider that I have actual finished projects this month, that's pretty amazing. And there's the stuff that I didn't film. I made a dress for the funeral that I think deserves a bit of a glow up, so I'm considering adding some embroidery to it in the near future. I think it'll make a fantastic canvas for some moons and stars and other fun motifs. It's a Twig Tale Fable Dress, and Twig Tale are really into blinging their designs out with embroidery, so I think that my dress could use it. I finished the Fractal Danger Scarf. I think it was technically done a couple of weeks into March, and I meant to film the bind off, but I kept putting it off. I finally just sat down a couple of nights ago, bound off the scarf. It is really pretty, and I think I know who it belongs to, so it'll be going into whatever I choose to be my present bin for Christmas. The socks are also done. When I said they felt beefy, I wasn't kidding. These things are chonktacular, and the Husbeast's feet are going to be so warm. I'm just going to take these off the blockers because for some people, that's the most satisfying bit. So, there we go. They are most definitely holding their shape. Hold up your socks like it's somebody's fish. I think I saw that on Reddit somewhere. Hold up your socks, or hold up your knitting like it's a man with a fish. But yeah, the beefiness is definitely the yarn's fault because I've used the Hermione's Everyday Socks pattern a few times now, and I don't think I've ever had a pair come out looking quite this substantial. I'm glad that I have more Blue Moon Fiber Arts yarn because they're not making any more of it, and I kind of like a pair for myself now. So now for the stuff that's moving forward. The sweater continues. Let me just put my stoppers back on here. It's actually starting to look like a sweater. And I've put a few more rows on it. Slowly but surely knitting my way down towards the hip. I think we're past the high waist now, so that's looking absolutely fantastic. I have something else around here. I have an emergency backup sock. I guess an explanation is in order. So I got to March 29th and the socks were done. No socks on the needles. But I wanted to go out possibly with friends, and I wanted a purse sock, just in case. So, pulled out an unfinished sock project, and after taking a good look at it, realized that even after putting in an afterthought heel, this thing isn't going to fit anyone in my family. Definitely not me, and I like this stripe so much I want to wear it. So, I had been working from the center of the ball, so I cast on a new standard for me vanilla sock from the outer end. And I'm not even going to worry about afterthought heels. Hi. Yeah. If I can't complete the pair without frogging the original sock, so be it. I'll just reattach where I left off with the originally cut yarn. And I'll weave in my ends. Not a big deal. So, say hello to my resurrected unfinished object emergency backup sock. This is the purse sock that will likely get worked on if the monthly project isn't a sock that can be packed in my purse or is finished in a relatively quick amount of time. It's not the only UFO that I have my eye on. I have a work bag from either the late 1800s or 1910s that I was working on a couple of years back that's been calling my name, so we'll have to see what happens with the April monthly mystery project. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go do that right now. I don't know, I think it's giving peak Stevie Nicks vibes. All your life you've never seen a woman taken by the wind. Would you stay if she promised you heaven? Would you ever win? Will you ever win? Yeah. Does it have big pockets? Well, yeah, I put the huge pockets in it. What do you expect me to do?